What is the future of Turning Point USA going to look like? And we know what they're trying to do. They're trying to turn this into an Israel-first organization. And you know what? They probably will. They will succeed in turning it into that. Now, that doesn't mean that the organization is going to have anywhere near the impact that it once did when Charlie was alive. I think we can all agree that that's not happening anymore. But what I do think is imperative is that we do not lose sight of who was the biggest culprit, the elephant in the room of this event. It was Lil Ben Shapiro. Given a grand stage, given the opportunity to spew his bullshit, of which he did plenty, and he had a lot of people that he decided he was going to go after.
Despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time.
Well, if anybody knows a thing or two about grifting and not deserving your time, it is definitely Lil Ben Shapiro. Like Jen says, he probably has to paste on that goatee, because I'm not sure that kid's ever hit puberty. He still sounds like he's in that 13 to 14 year range where his voice is trying to change, but it hasn't quite changed just yet. He's working on it really hard. But change, voice, change. We're going to get to Erica, guys. Don't worry.
And they are something worse.
Oh, don't do this shit again. All right, let's try it one more time. I'm going to try this one more time because the files are not cooperating as I would like them to this evening. But here's hoping. We need them to cooperate. We'll try this one more time.
And despair, who seek to undermine fundamental principles of conservatism by championing enervation and grievance. These people are frauds, and they are grifters, and they do not deserve your time. And they are something worse than that. A danger to the only movement capable of stopping the left from wrecking the country wholesale. So today, I want to discuss 5 obligations that people who speak to you on matters of importance have to you. I want to speak to you about our duties. Our first duty is truth. We owe you the truth. That means we should not mislead you. It means we shouldn't hide the ball. We shouldn't be deliberately obscure about what we're telling you.
So when do you plan on doing that? I have yet to see where you are not hiding the ball, where you are telling the truth, or you are not an agent of Mossad. Last I checked, when you offered $1 million to TPUSA, I'm sure that came, among other conditions, as more money pours in from pro-Israel causes, you getting a primary speaking slot at AmFest. Am I right or am I right?
We have an obligation to clarity and to honesty. This means that we actually have to be clear in the language that we use. We should not traffic in generality. We should not say things like, they shot Charlie, without specifying whom we mean by they. The person who allegedly shot Charlie Kirk, and whom all the evidence points at, all of it, is a gay, trans-loving furry.
Okay. So here's how we know that whoever Ben Shapiro is, whoever he represents, whoever he's working on behalf of, not just himself, but certainly foreign interests and interests of our 3-letter alphabet agencies. This case has not even gone to trial. It's in its early stages, preliminary stages. They say that evidence is unequivocal, that it's a trans furry, that the person who will not be named is a patsy. Here's what we do know. A 30-06 bullet did not kill him. And if it did, it would have severed his head. That's been the talking point. It has been insistent that that is the weapon of choice of Tyler Robinson. It has already been debunked by anyone with actual knowledge of high-powered rifles. It's all a lie. So if that's the case, then it is clear that your case has already fallen apart. But if that's not enough, they completely wiped down the crime scene. And that includes cement, paint. Why would you have to do that if you had a case? You don't. What about all those wonderful things that TPUSA has been claiming about the assassination? That Candace Owens has so eloquently pointed out time and again. No matter what you think of Candace, you cannot dispute what she's been talking about because she's so fucking spot on about it. There are so many holes in this story, and yet this man chooses to use this opportunity to declare that the patsy is the person who murdered Charlie Kirk. I would say that I'm surprised by anything that comes out of Ben Shapiro's mouth, but at this point, I'm not surprised by anything anymore.
If we are going to target ideological movements, we should talk about the fact that the radical trans movement treats all those who oppose it as existential threats. Or if we're going to talk about the Democratic Party making room for the radical trans movement and echoing its inflammatory rhetoric, well, we should talk about that. Those are specific problems, and they require specific responses. When people say they shot Charlie, however, they are instead trafficking in vagary that results in increased hatred without proposing any effective response. They are fostering despair and rage, and that makes things worse. We must also be honest about what people say and do, regardless of what that means coalitionally. It is the job of politicians to build coalitions. It's the job of those of us who try to shape public opinion to hold politicians to account and to hold them accountable to our values.
So, of course, we know what that means. That means we have the right to buy politicians, which the pro-Israel lobby does, and their values are Israel first policy. This is a traitor to the United States. Mark Levin, Deborah Messing, Noah Tishby, Barry Weiss, Erica Kirk, and I can go on and on. These people do not give a shit about the average person in this country, much less the country as a whole. I say little Ben Shapiro because he is a little man and he's a shitbag at the same time, and he has the most grating voice. I got very lucky with my voice, but Benny didn't get lucky with his. Now, how the hell so many people listen to him, I don't know. Just because you talk fast doesn't mean you can think fast, act fast, or are correct. You are neither. You are a useless tool of empire. Your empire is crumbling, and we're going to get to that in a minute.
We must not let fear of audience deter us from telling the truth. We must not let fear of other hosts deter us from telling the truth. So, for example, if Candace Owens decides to spend every day since the murder of Charlie Kirk
if that's how he wants to play it, fine. You want to use your platform as an opportunity to bash Candace Owens because she's asking questions? Candace Owens is right. And as Jen and I have discussed in private, They killed her friend. They killed her friend. And whether Ben had anything to do with it or not, I don't know. But do I think he has knowledge? Yeah, I do. And I also believe that the more you poke at Candace, the harder she's going to come back.
One is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on.
And that is how you respond to a shitbag like Lil Ben Shapiro. Just because whether she's pious or not, and I have to say, I'm not a religious person, but that is an absolutely beautiful cross over her shoulder. I love... And I got to be honest. I got to be 1,000% transparent with you guys. And I'm not kidding. If Ben Shapiro and Candace Owens squared off, I'm putting my money on Candace Owens. Just because I know that if she got a hold of his little testicles, she'd rip them straight off. Assuming he even has them to begin with. I'm just saying. I'm just saying.
And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do.
We'll start again in a second. But at least I figured out how to fix the problem once it kicks in. This is what happens when you are a small but mighty channel. We do not have the budget for a high-end production, but we are doing the best we can with what we've got. So you get to hear it one more time.
One is so fully off of the mother effing plantation. Truly, Ben Shapiro, fuck you and the midget horse that you rode in on. And I say that on behalf of the world. I know you're going to get applauded by Konstantin Kisin and Andrew Christ is King Clavin and all of the people, the men who have to keep applauding what you do like you're a 4-year-old to make you feel good. But the rest of the world can't stand you. You're obnoxious. You have absolutely no values that exist outside of the Talmud. You describe yourself as a Talmudic Jew. And I've learned what's in that Talmud, and I encourage other people at home to learn what is in that Talmud so that you know what Ben thinks of you, because he doesn't just hate me, he hates you too.
And she's right. And if there is a clear distinction that everyone should know between the Zionists and the anti-Zionists, as well as the difference between the Zionist Christians and the Zionist Jews, know the distinction between the Holy Bible and the Schofield Bible, and know the difference between the Torah and the Talmud, because there is a distinct difference. Now, I can't speak to this the way that Jen can. We have invited a couple of noted Christian pastors, including Chuck Baldwin, who we're hoping to get on the show to discuss the difference between the Holy Bible and the Schofield Bible. And I think it is also imperative that people understand the difference between the Talmud and the Torah. And of course, Zionists like Lil Ben Shapiro like to cite the Talmud. Okay, if that's the way you want to play it, then trust me when I tell you, if the average person wants to know what's in that book, you don't want them to know, because there are some seriously fucked up things in that book. No question.
White men, he hates all black people, okay? If he's following the rules of the Talmud, I mean, when I say hates, they think that we're animals, that they have a right to own us, that they have a right to make us worship them, that they have a right to lie to us, that they have a right to sue us and take everything that we have, that they have a right to deceive us, that they have a right to treat Charlie the way that he treated Charlie while he was alive, only to then try to defraud the population into thinking that he is somehow a part of his legacy, that he somehow cared about Charlie Kirk and cares to protect the people that are working at Turning Point USA. Goodbye, Ben. Goodbye. The question is, how much more money is Ben Shapiro going to spend to make people think that he's popular?
That is a great question, Candace. And the fact of the matter is, it's probably limitless. And guys, we have officially hit 1,000 live viewers for the evening. If you have yet to smash that like button, please make sure that you do so. Let's get to 1,200 live viewers while we're at it. I believe, and this is me, I believe, as Candace is going to allude, that Shapiro is on his way out. Now, it's not going to happen today. It's not going to happen tomorrow, because when you have this much money getting pumped up your ass 24/7, like the Ellisons are doing with Barry Weiss over at CBS News, you can make that go for a while. And let's not forget, there's also the factor of the algorithm. If you are on the corporate algorithm, by pure happenstance, you can remain relevant based on numbers. When you're not part of the corporate algorithm, you got to fight, claw, and scratch your way to any type of relevance. Somebody like Ben Shapiro, I mean, you know that guy definitely gets a manicure and a pedicure on a regular. I'm just saying, not against people who want to get primped, but I'm just saying there's no question that when I say that between Candace and little Ben, if they were to get into fisticuffs, I'm taking Candace.
How many more articles is his father going to write under a pen name, Hank Berrien of the Daily Wire, under the pen name Hank Berrien, as he wrote while Ben was at Breitbart, before he turned his back and betrayed them too, because that is his nature. He's one of these belly creatures, sliver on. The question is, how many more weeks and years do we have to keep pretending like Ben Shapiro is relevant?
Hopefully not for much longer. And that is the essence of why that clip is so important. Because Candace, she can't go to a place like AmFest. She can't go to those events anymore. Not just because the people at the top obviously hate her guts, but she wouldn't be safe. So wherever she met with Erica Kirk, it had to have been in an undisclosed location. There's no other way. And what I like about the way that she does this, because as I've been maintaining for a while, ladies and gentlemen, and I still maintain it now, I believe that Candace knows exactly what happened to Charlie. She absolutely unequivocally knows that Israel was involved in his removal. And she is making sure that this story stays relevant for as long as is necessary, that it continues to dismantle the Zio state within the U.S.